Hi, thanks for tuning in today. Today I'm going to be doing this review of this Greek New Testament. It's a unique one. I've actually done a review of it before. I wanted to redo that today because the image quality on that previous video was not good at all. And I want to give you a better look at it. And I want to discuss this in about 8 different categories. Now, what I've done is I've put timestamps in the description because there's some things on here that you might not be interested in. I really want this video to be something that will help you and serve you and make for making a determination as to whether you want to buy this Greek New Testament or not. So stay with me and we'll get into it. So why this edition? Why did they make this Greek New Testament? And the reason is they wanted a Greek New Testament that would have a very generous copyright. So a lot of Greek New Testaments that are out there are guarded heavily by copyright. This edition isn't in the public domain, but it does have a very, very generous copyright. And I think they were running into issues with other Greek New Testaments. They were running into problems with people claiming copyright restrictions and things like that. So that's why this edition was done. Okay, number 2. What are the advantages to this edition? What sort of advantages does this edition provide you? Well, this edition has the advantage of a very unique kind of apparatus. The kind of apparatus that this sort of Greek New Testament has is one that was common in the 19th century, where it would evaluate different editions of the Greek New Testament. This does this in a modern setting with a modern type face, where you can compare the Robinson-Pierpont text, which is a Byzantine text, with the Westcott and Hort text, Tregelles, the Greek text that underlies the NIV, and very quickly you can determine where these different editions differ from one another. One of the unique things about this printed edition is it does not list differences between itself and the Nestle-Aland most generally. But you can still determine that because the readings of the Greek text that underlies the NIV is virtually identical to the Nestle-Aland text. And where the NIV, the underlying Greek text for the NIV, differs from the Nestle-Aland text, those differences are pointed out to you in this edition. So you're really comparing several editions of the Greek New Testament, and you're able to see that in the apparatus. So the apparatus shows you differences between editions of the Greek New Testament and not differences in your manuscript. So that makes it unique, and for some people that might just be advantageous as well. So the good thing about it is you're going to be able to see the differences between a critical text and the Byzantine text. That's probably one of the most valuable things about this particular edition. Okay, number 3, let's talk about the man who edited this text. It's Michael W. Holmes, and let's talk about the base text that he used to work from. So Michael W. Holmes was, I believe, the last doctoral student of Bruce Metzger, whose name dominated the field a generation ago as far as textual criticism. Michael Holmes falls into the category of most New Testament scholars, New Testament textual critics that you would be familiar with. He falls in line with those who follow the procedure of textual reasoned eclecticism. And so the base text that he used to start his work on this was the text of Westcott and Hort. He updated the orthography, that is the spellings and things like that, from the Westcott and Hort text, and then he went through and comparing the major editions of the Greek New Testament. He compared those variants, and where all the editions agreed, he kept that as the reading. Where they differed, he would do text critical work, and there's very few places, relatively speaking, that he made his own independent judgments on that would have differed from any available Greek New Testament that he was comparing. So that's who Michael W. Holmes is, and that's the base text that he used. Okay, so number 4, let's get into the physical qualities of this Greek New Testament, and I'll let you take a look at it right now. So as far as the size and portability, I've brought out 3 other editions of the Greek New Testament to kind of compare this with. Here's the Textus Receptus edition done by the Trinitarian Bible Society, and here is the UBS 4th edition. It is about the same, well, it's a little bit thicker than the Textus Receptus, a little bit thinner than the UBS with a dictionary, but pretty comparable in size. It's very handy and portable. Your actual dimensions on it are going to be something like 8 1/4 inches, I believe. Yep. And probably about 5 3/4 by less than an inch thick. So it's very portable. So as far as size and portability, it's a very nice volume to have. Okay, let's talk about the font size of this Greek New Testament. So I think you're looking at somewhere around maybe even a 10-point font. Yeah, I would say you've got about a 10-point font there. It's very readable. It's something comparable to what you're going to find in a Tyndale Greek New Testament. So yeah, very easy to read font. And the cool thing about it too is that your apparatus font is the same, pretty close to the same size, if not exactly the same size as your main text. So that's very nice. Next, let's talk about the paper quality. So the paper quality is very nice. It's a very good feeling paper, and it's, you know, hardly any bleed through at all. So that's really nice. So I think the paper quality is really, really exceptional on this. Finally, let's talk about the binding as far as physical qualities. This will be the last thing we talk about as far as physical qualities. You can actually see the signatures right here. So it's a good sewn binding. There's a little glue spillover. Every binding uses a little bit of glue. Maybe not the neatest job with the glue, but it is a very good sewn binding. So that's a real good positive thing. Okay, so who would this text be good for? Who should buy this text? This will be the last category that we talk about. The person that would be interested in buying this text might be a person who's looking for generous copyright permission, so that you can do quite a bit with this text and stay within the boundaries of the copyright restrictions. So that might be one person. Maybe you're a teacher, maybe you're a professor or something. You want a text that you can display freely and not have to worry about too much about violating copyright restrictions. That would be one person. Another person might be somebody who wants to see the differences between various editions and maybe not so concerned about manuscripts. They want to see where, you know, Westcott and Hort and Tregelles and some of these other printed editions differ. It'd be especially interesting to someone who prefers perhaps the critical text, a modern critical text, and wants to see the differences between itself and the Byzantine text. That would be another person that would be interested in this. Another person that might be interested in this is someone who's not particularly interested in textual criticism. This would be a person who, you know, seeing small little letters underneath the apparatus means very little to them, and they're not really interested in that, but they might want to see where different editions are going to vary from one another. So that would be a few of the people that might be interested in this text. And so I hope this helped you make kind of a determination as to whether you might want to buy this or not. So looking forward to seeing you maybe on the next video. Thanks.